Hello, I'm Cassie,
And I'm Sarah.
and this is Novel Matters, where we talk about the books we love, the ones we didn't, and everything in between. Sarah, if the book The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig was a food and a drink, what would it be?
I feel like this book gives very red wine vibes. I was hoping that you would think the same because I don't know, I don't know if it's the dark aesthetic of the book or specifically the outside of the book or what, but it just gives red wine type vibes.
Yes, I was thinking red wine and then sea salt, dark chocolate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I 100%
It's like
agree.
bittersweet. Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, it's a gothic fantasy, so
What
I
pairs
feel like
perfectly.
it's the perfect pairing.
It is.
Okay, so our current reads. Would you like to go first?
Sure. My current read, which I feel like I stated this the last time, or I told you about it the last time, was Bearer of Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I'm still getting through that book. It is a hefty book, and I've been reading it listening to it on Spotify, and it's taken me a while. I think I've had it for about a month now and haven't finished it, but it's really good.
I have been waiting for the TBR wheel to give that book to me. And I feel like it's just gonna not give it to me until the very end.
Oh, it's going to be your last one.
Yeah. And I have 71 books to go.
You're going through it though, because you just started the wheel, a month ago, 3
Yeah.
weeks ago, and you're already down 4 books.
Yeah.
I'm
But
proud of
it's a
you.
good motivator because there's so many books that I actually want to read. So when it gives me books that I don't want to read, I'm like, okay, I just gotta get through this and get it done.
Yeah.
So right now, I actually spun the wheel last night and it gave me The Messy Lives of Book People. I don't remember who it's by, but I read halfway through it last night and I'm not a fan.
Oh no, I hate that for you.
Yeah.
I don't even think I've heard of that book before.
It was one of Barnes & Noble's monthly picks a
Okay.
few years ago and just now picking it up.
I have, speaking of Barnes & Noble, I have a gift card that I am dying to go to Barnes & Noble and get some books for.
Now's the perfect time, I feel like, with all the new releases.
Yes, and didn't they just release their top 2025 picks of the year?
I'm not sure.
Is it next year's? I'll have to look again, but they just released some sort of list of the top books for 2025 or maybe 2026. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Have you ever read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder?
Haven't read it, did watch the show though.
Oh, the show's already out?
The show's already out and I think it's on Netflix maybe, and it is so good.
Okay. Well, then I'm excited to watch the show because I gave it 2 stars.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was okay, so the mystery of it was just very contrived
Okay.
and all the clues always felt so convenient when she was finding them
I
in the
can see
book.
that.
And I don't know if it's the same in the show. Is she a high schooler in the show?
Yes.
I was like, why is anyone letting a high schooler run around trying to solve a cold case
Right.
without minimal adult intervention? And in the book, there's some dangerous situations. So
I was just about to say that now that you pointed it out, she does get into some sketchy situations that people should not be into, but especially a teenager.
yeah.
But
so
no, the show is really good. You'll like it.
I did say I like the pacing of it though.
It's young,
Yeah.
YA, right?
Yeah. And I'm not like a YA fan, so I kind of expected not to like it.
Yeah.
So it's okay. What is on your TBR?
Oh, I texted you about this yesterday for maybe a future podcast episode, but I really want to read Project Hail Mary. And then you stated that there's a movie coming out. So I think we'll probably read that closer to when the movie comes out in March of 2026. But that one has been on my TBR for a little while now.
And you're excited about who's starring in the movie?
Yes, Ryan Gosling is starring in the movie. Was surprised to see that. And he's just so cute. So I'm super excited to see him.
Yeah. I've heard good things about the book. Really good things.
I have to.
And I don't have the physical book yet, but I've always wanted to get it. And that's actually a book Alex has read.
Really?
Because, he doesn't have a lot of read books on his list.
Yeah.
So I feel like when he actually reads a book and he gets through it, I'm like, okay, it has to be a good book if he can get through it.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I still have to read One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune for our book club book.
Yeah.
So that's on my TBR.
Nice.
And everything else is what the wheel tells me to read.
Yeah, you're at the mercy of the wheel right now.
So, for The Night and the Moth, do you want to do the summary today?
I'll do the summary. So The Night and the Moth is the first book in the Stonewater Kingdom series by Rachel Gillig, blending gothic romantasy with atmospheric world building. It centers on Sybil Delling, initially known only as Six, one of 6 diviners housed at Aisling Cathedral. Each diviner undergoes ritual drownings in a sacred spring to receive visions from 6 mysterious beings known as Omens, which she uses to predict future events. Sybil has spent 9 years in service wearing blindfolds and living under strict authority until her tenure nears its end. Her world unravels when the young King Benedict Castor III, accompanied by his irreverent knight Rodrick or Rory Mendacious, visits the cathedral. Rory, skeptical of the diviner's practices, clashes with Sybil, but when her fellow diviners start disappearing one by one, Sybil reluctantly teams up with Rory to investigate their fate and uncover dark truths concealed by the very institution meant to protect them. Their quest takes them beyond the cathedral walls across the kingdom of Tram, through its 5 hamlets tied to each god of the Omens, to unmask lies and search for the vanished prophetesses. Along the way, Sybil begins reclaiming her true identity, navigating a budding, slow burn romance with Rory, and confronting spiritual and political upheaval that may reshape the fate of her world.
Okay, so what are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts of the book is I really liked it. I was a little skeptical when you suggested it because I did not finish One Dark Window in her first series. I did not finish that book at all and haven't picked it up, and it's been a few years. So I was a little skeptical because I was not enjoying myself while reading One Dark Window. So I was like, okay, we'll give her another shot and just kind of see how that goes. And I enjoyed this book. What were your thoughts?
I loved it, but at the same time, I was always excited to get back to reading it, but it was also missing that something for me to say it was 5 stars. So I'm still grappling with whether it was like a 4-star or 4.5 stars. So I don't know, but I really loved it.
I did too. And I know that I was telling you earlier, but the gargoyle, his role in the book made the book. If the gargoyle was missing out of the book would definitely not have gone over so well with me. So he definitely made the book.
I know. I feel like, okay, so there's Rory.
Yeah.
And Rory is hard not to love.
Oh, yeah.
Especially by any fantasy lover.
Yes.
But then there's Gargoyle, and he kind of gives that comedic relief sometimes. It's such a dark aesthetic type world.
Yeah.
But he's what brought me back every time.
I saw
And
that he was
just,
your book crush too on your most
Rory?
recent. Yeah. Didn't you say
Yes.
that?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I think for now,
Yeah.
4.5 stars on my end.
I think 4.5 stars for me too. And it's been so long since I've read a fantasy book because like fantasy is one of my top genres. But with our podcast, we've been reading more like literary fiction, contemporary fiction, and then even in our book club as well. So it's been a while since I've picked up a fantasy book, and it just drew me in. I don't know how to explain it, but it just felt so nice to it felt like you're back home, you know,
Yeah.
like it's something that you're so comfortable with. It was nice to get back into it.
Yeah, and it was nice because the world building and the magic system was actually different than all the like copy and paste fantasy romantasy stuff that's out now. So that was like a breath of fresh air almost.
I agree. And I feel like her world building, like how she set it up was so good. And it takes you almost the entirety of the book, or at least halfway through the book, to understand what the world is and how that's being presented. She did a really good job with leveling that out in the beginning of the book.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, and I just thought of this, but the reason it's 4.5 stars for me is because I kind of predicted who the antagonist overall would end up being, and Gargoyle. So this will contain spoilers. So if you want to read this book and you haven't, maybe come back and watch it after you finish.
Yes,
because we don't want to spoil all the good stuff for you. So do you want me to tell you my theory?
Yes.
Okay, so at the beginning, Sybil was saying that she doesn't remember her past before Aisling Cathedral. So then Gargoyle comes in and they only call him and all the other gargoyles gargoyles. And I mean, it seems like he's really the only one with an actual personality. And he calls everyone Bartholomew. So I was like, why is this gargoyle calling everyone this one name? Like, it's kind of weird. And then I put together, I was like, I think he's saying his own name so he doesn't forget it. He's calling everybody else his own. So he'll always hold that piece of his identity.
Yeah.
And I ended up being right.
You did.
So I was really excited about that. It was so sad though at the end, but
Devastating.
we can get more into that later.
Yes.
So themes.
I would say one of the notable themes that I witnessed was like love, loyalty, and a connection. Specifically like Rodrick and Sybil, they did have a dynamic there. Both I don't want to say like outcasts, but just like they both had a devastating upbringing with Roderick's past, and then Sybil being a foundling and then into a diviner, and then not having the free will and path of her own. That their connection was profound, I feel like.
Yes. I saw a theme with power and religion. I feel like there was a really big focus on that, considering Sybil and her being a diviner and her spending the past 10 years of her life having such a hard belief in something, and then her coming to find out that it's not like that at all. It's basically one big lie. So I thought that was a huge theme, and I think that can really be relatable to other people who might be grappling with religion in their lives. So that was like a cool read.
Oh, definitely.
I also saw a theme with death. Considering all the diviners would, when they were foundlings, they were usually on the brink of death.
Yeah.
And then they would be drowned and then be brought back to life by the spring. So that is just a theme there. Do you have anything to add on that?
I think too, like faith versus free will, like Sybil, she did struggle with like obedience and autonomy, because while she was a diviner, she didn't really have autonomy over like herself. Like I feel like it was kind of like a false sense of autonomy, if that makes sense, because she did state in the book while she was a diviner, she had the ability to like smoke, drink, do things. That's autonomous in itself, but then she can't roam outside of that, and she's at the mercy of Aisling Cathedral and her role as a diviner. And I think she really does struggle with that throughout the book. And then towards the end, I feel like she comes around to it and is like, okay, she gains more autonomy over herself, and she understands that like she has a path in her own life that she can choose.
All right. Yeah, I like that. So with the symbolism, I really loved reading this because there was so much symbolism, and maybe not so much symbolism, but the symbolism that it did had, it was just so heavy. And one was the moth, obviously, which to me symbolize just metamorphosis and life and death. And that's such a huge thing considering Sybil's character kind of revolved around that a little bit. And also the fact that she was killing the Omens, which are the gods in this world.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
It was, definitely. And I feel like too, like the water and like the ritual drowning was also a symbol, I would say, more of like a spiritual and physical consequence of the spring's ritual, and that the water serves as like a source of prophecy and like a symbolism of oppression as well. So this, I do feel like she had, like Rachel was able to symbolize a lot of the stuff within her book, because I mean you have the 5 like stones, right? And all of them had a piece into the book that there was a lot that you could digest with the symbols.
The gossamer that they all had to wear, I said that was a symbol of unveiled truth.
Yeah.
Well, especially because it's hiding their stone eyes.
And they didn't know.
No. I just can't wrap my head around them just never taking it off.
Right.
Ever. For the whole 10 years.
Yeah.
And just the fact that if they would have, it might have let them see, what the spring water is doing to them.
Yeah.
Because at the end, we find out that Sybil would have been kept around because she was the favorite, and she would have been turned into the gargoyle.
Yeah.
So stone eyes, you can make the inference here that with the spring water, if it just kept going, she would turn to stone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think found that the most intriguing part of the book was first just like, I don't know, the craziness of the drownings and the power that the Aisling Cathedral had over like the diviners, and to like the blind faith within that, but also the unraveling of Aisling Cathedral whenever they found that she was not telling the truth about what they were doing there. That was definitely the most interesting part of the book.
What I found was interesting was, and I don't think I'm a fan of this part, because this is where it's like a little convenient, I guess. Before the end of their service, all the diviners decide to sneak out when all they had was like a month until they were finished. Maybe, but she did say 90 years, so I don't know. But they didn't have that much longer until they just would have been free.
Right.
Not really free, but to them free. And they just decide to sneak out together.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember what they went out for originally.
I can't remember either, but I do know that they went to like the nearest like hamlet, like Colson Fair. But I can't remember exactly like what their mission was whenever they...
It was because Rory was baiting Sybil, and he was like, you don't even know like what's out there. You don't know how to live. You just know what is within the confines of the cathedral you've been staying in.
Yeah.
That's why she went out.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, that seems maybe a little convenient for me, and I feel like I wouldn't have risked that personally.
Right.
And it was revealed at the end that it was sort of like her fault that the diviners were sent off and murdered.
My thing with that though is, well, one of two things is, why didn't Aisling stop them? Like, she knew that they were going out and doing that, because she admits that she knew of that event. So like, why didn't she stop them first off? But then secondly, if they didn't happen to go and they did just stay because their 10 years almost up, would any of that happen throughout the book of them finding out that Aisling Cathedral wasn't what they thought it was?
Right. And why didn't she start? Well, I guess she did before Sybil left. I guess Aisling did start trying to contain her and like starve her of the spring water.
Yeah.
Because at that point, we didn't know about her being turned into a gargoyle or anything. But that I just made that connection there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she was. So anyway.
Do you have any other symbols?
Oh, okay. So another obvious symbol was the knight,
Yeah.
which in general, the knights usually symbolize virtue or just being worldly because of the traveling that they have to do. But I think they also symbolize contradictions in this case, because the knights in Trom, is that what the universe is called?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, they're killing sprites when the sprites are just starving.
Yes.
So I feel like maybe they're not symbolizing virtue all that much, but to them they do, and they're like, they honor that. So yeah, I think it's just a lot of contradictions in that.
And too, like, based off of like what I've read of like knighthood and stuff like that in other books, so this is where I'm getting my research from, so this very could not be accurate, but I feel like knights are incredibly loyal, and especially loyal to the people that they serve. But so I found it very interesting when they initiated Sybil into their knighthood, and he wouldn't let her show her loyalty. Well, she didn't want to anyways, but Rory was specific on like, you do not have to show loyalty to him or take that oath of loyalty to Benji. And then I think they stated later that Rory did not do that oath either in his induction into the knighthood either.
Yeah. What vibes did you get from Benji, like throughout the book until he showed his true colors?
So I really enjoyed Benji in the beginning of the book because I thought he was like fun and just like young and naive specifically. My turning point of Benji was when they were about to see the Heartsore Weaver, and he was with the other knights that she wasn't too familiar with, and he started calling her Six instead of Sybil. And I was like, oh no, that's not good. And I was like, what is that change? And I knew I knew when reading that, I was like, something is about to happen and change with Benji, because he's going back and using her diviner name and not the name that she wanted to go, her actual name, but the name that she wanted them to call her. I was like, this is not good.
Yeah. For me, it was a little before that, I think, and Benji and Sybil were having a one-on-one conversation, and he was trying to be persuasive and getting her to stick around instead of leaving once they finish the mantle, taking up the mantle. So he was just kind of giving power hungry a little bit, and he seemed very invested in proving and finishing what his grandfather started. So at that point, I was like, I think he might have been playing a part to everybody else.
Yeah.
And he's not as naive as he looks.
Yes.
So at that point, that's when I started to go sour on him.
I wonder if that was like Benji's turning point in the book, like in his own character development, was whenever he figured that Sybil would not go with him to Castle Rodrick and be a part of this after this was done. I wonder if that was like, okay, I need to start making some changes here.
Yeah. I wonder if he truly had good intentions, like at the beginning, or if he saw what he could have if Sybil was involved towards the end and like keeping her. So I'm excited to find out about that in the second book.
Me too. How many books, I haven't looked into it, but how many books is this series going to be?
Just two.
Just two? Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get our questions answered on the next book.
And I think she's already sent the second book into edits.
Great.
So hopefully it won't be that long.
Changing subject a little bit, how did you find the fan casting that you were sending me?
Okay, so for the Rory fan casting, I honestly didn't mind it that much because I don't like it when I see other fan casting for other fantasy books and everyone uses the same people all the
Yes.
time. So I liked that it was someone different. And I liked how they had an unconventional look.
Yeah.
So that to me was like attractive.
I agree. When you sent it, I was like, that's not really what I was picturing. I don't know what I was picturing though, but I can see it now.
And she always says, Rachel Gillig, when she was describing Rory, that he was always kind of like trying to make himself smaller, like hunching almost a little bit. And when I saw the picture of her fan cast, I was like, I could see this guy doing that. Like he just kind of gives off that vibe. So I was like, oh. But for Sybil, the fan cast for her, I didn't send you the picture, but I think her name's Aurora, and she's a singer. Not here. She's not big in the United States, but over in Europe, I think she's pretty big. And she has that like silver white hair.
Ooh, pretty. Okay.
And it's like the short bangs, I think.
Yeah.
And she's also like unconventionally attractive.
Yeah.
Like she gives an otherworldly beauty. So I was like that. I feel like that fits Sybil really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'll have to look up a picture after this. But just tell me who the fan casting was for Gargoyle, please.
Okay, so Gargoyle. And this was Rachel Gillig. This was her saying this. Her fan casting for Gargoyle was Danny DeVito.
Which I was drinking coffee when Cassie sent this to me, and I almost spit out my coffee because it was just so freaking funny that I could not imagine. But then again, I could 100% imagine him being the gargoyle in this with his witty comments.
And just me imagining Danny DeVito as a bat-like gargoyle, it just sent me. It's like, this is perfect.
Yes.
Like weirdly perfect. So that made his character just so much better.
Oh, absolutely. Because every time that he was like saying something, or like I was reading the book and he would say something, I just like imagined a stone Danny DeVito saying it to me. Yes.
And he had the best one-liners.
He did. There was one, oh gosh, I can't remember what exactly he did, but he was like, that shows a lot of valor for me, or something like that. And I was like, oh my goodness.
There was one point he tripped and fell over something, and then he recovered, and someone else also fell. And he looked at them and he was basically like, I could never. This might be one of my favorite side characters of all time.
I agree. It was so good. And I think too, like, usually like books do not make me like actually laugh out loud. Like you kind of like chuckle to yourself, or like internally you're laughing. But his little one-liners were just so funny that I did catch myself laughing out loud.
And it makes my heart hurt to think that the whole time he just reminded me of like a child.
Yes.
He had such a childlike personality, and then to think at the end, that's when he was turned like from a foundling into basically a diviner, the first diviner. And it's because he never actually got to grow up, and that's why he acts so silly.
Yes.
And childlike.
But he had so much wisdom to him too, which probably came over time of him being a gargoyle and being under Aisling Cathedral, that he was able to see a lot and learn a lot. But he had so much childlike wonder, but just so much wisdom as well with some of the stuff that he said to her, which gets into like the notable quotes, because I think all my notable quotes are from him specifically.
Yeah. I think I only have one.
I think I have two.
Just
so it's
one from him.
Nothing crazy or anything, but
so another thing we need to talk about are the omens, which are basically the gods in the book.
Yep.
And we have 5, correct? Technically.
Would it technically be 6 because of Aisling?
I believe so, but I feel like nobody else knows that.
Okay.
Like it, because the moth,
Yes.
and no one knows that the moth is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So can you tell us what the omens were.
Yes. So there were 5 omens. There was a coin, the coin who would collect, or goodness. Now I feel like I'm going to get them confused. But okay. So we have the coin that belonged to the artful brigand. You had the loom, which belonged to the heartsore weaver. You had the oar, which belonged to the oarsman. And then you had the chime that belonged to the faithful forester. Then what was the other one? Coin. It was like coin, the loom, the chime. I think we could probably Google it really quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Okay. 5
The
omen.
ink. The ink one. Which one was that?
The Herod scribe.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we're good at this. So those were the 5. And then you had Aisling. How I kind of thought of Aisling, though, was that like she was the god of it all. Like she's the mastermind of it. And then she symbolized the moth, right?
Right.
And then you had the 5 omens. And then they were kind of all divvied out through their different hamlets, which I thought of like hamlets as like different countries.
Yeah.
Because whenever they went to collect these omens from those people, the gods, then they would go to each of their hamlets.
Yes.
We really needed a recap.
Yeah. And we just finished it yesterday. So the artful brigand, he had to do with knowledge, correct?
I think it was the Herod scribe. Because I've also felt like the Herod scribe was knowledge.
I think you're right, because that was in the, I feel like you're right. And then I remember the oarsman, which, what was he called?
I can't remember his first name, Mr. Oarsman.
Okay, we'll just say Mr. Oarsman. So he had, when Sybil took up the mantle with Mr. Oarsman, that final battle on the water, I don't know why, but it reminded me of the Super Mario Brothers. And he was, I don't even know what this dude is called in Mario Brothers, but he's like a wizard. That's what I was picturing in my head the whole time.
I can 100% see that, because she had to go on like a platform in the water to like face him. That's definitely Super Mario stuff for sure.
So I just thought that was funny that I was imagining that in my head the whole time.
Yeah.
And with the loom, the heart sore weaver, that was unexpected for me. Like, I was not expecting that.
I wasn't either. And I'm honestly glad that it was at the end of the book, because I feel like saw so much oppression with the power that these omens held over their people, and just how power hungry they were, that it was really nice to understand somebody who was, I don't want to say above it, but did not want to be a part of it.
Right. And just to paint a picture, so the Heartsore Weaver was kind of the last stop before Sybil and Moth, Rory, and Benji went back to Aisling Cathedral. And the Heartsore Weaver was kind of, what was it called? The cliffs? Do you remember what the cliffs were called?
I can't remember exactly, but it was the cliffs that she was in.
She lived like underground in a cavern, sort of. And basically, she was not using any of the gold that Aisling had sent her, or she did not kill or murder any of the diviners that Aisling had sent her either. So that's kind of what unveiled the whole truth to Sybil.
Yeah.
And that's when the whole story like took a turn, I think. So I feel like she was the creepiest though.
For sure. And I feel like very cryptic in some of like her wording too.
Yes. So.
And I also thought it was really sweet that like she remembered Bartholomew and as the first diviner and recognized him when he was sitting out on the cliff. as well. How did they ever, which also begs the question, because you remember in like that scene in the book, he was sitting on the cliff. Like, you remember he wasn't there in bed when Sybil woke up and she was like scared that something happened to him. And so they try to go and find him and he's sitting on the cliff. And you could just tell that he's really drawn to that cliff with like the flowers and stuff like that. Why? Well, first, why do you think he was drawn to the cliff? But secondly, that's how he knew she was there. So how did he make that connection? What were your thoughts? Because I feel like I could not pull that together.
I don't have an answer
I was
for
like,
you.
how did he know that? Because he was kind of also like, I just know that she's here. And they're like, how do you know that? And I feel like he didn't answer, or I just skipped over it.
Well, she did say that she tried to go out to see him, but then when Sybil went out to find Gargoyle, Bartholomew, that she scared off the Heartsore Weaver when she was about to like go say hi, I guess. And I feel like maybe that's how he knew she was there, or like around that area. But with him knowing before she came out, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and he did, like, in their rooms. Do you remember where, like, when she came to their rooms?
I think so.
Why did the Heartsore Weaver hurt Sybil?
I don't know. Maybe because I kind of just like took it as like maybe she was scared because like she saw her, but I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they kind of skipped over that once she had the bruise, and then like the next day, if they mentioned it whenever the Heartsore Weaver hit her, but then they didn't mention it at all after that either. I also wonder, this is kind of changing my question and the topic a little bit, but they all turn into an animal of stone. Like all of the gargoyles are a different animal. And then the Heartsore Weaver, we know that she also turned into like a half human, half goat gargoyle type thing. Do you think that the type of animal that they transitioned to had something to do with like their personality, or had some sort of symbolism in itself?
I feel like it would have to, but when it comes, like, with Bartholomew, why a bat, though?
Yeah.
I don't know the symbolism behind a bat,
Yeah.
so I don't really get that. And I know one of the other ones, it was a lion, right?
There was also a snake too, in like the beginning of the book.
Yeah. So it has to symbolize something.
Yeah.
I just don't know what.
It could be overanalyzing, but I feel like it has to be something too.
Yeah. Well, and we have to remember that all those gargoyles were her past favorite diviners, like her most obedient.
Yes.
So I wonder if it has to do with something with that, maybe.
I can see that.
Yeah. Or maybe she's just bored. Like, do you think Aisling has even a say over what kind of gargoyle they turn into?
I feel like she would have to, right? Because like she was able to morph the dreams that the diviners were seeing whenever they were drowned and stuff. So I feel like she would, if she has power over that, I feel like she would have to have power over something else too.
Yeah. Another thing, when Sybil did the drowning ritual, when she, like, the sneaky time where Gargoyle Bartholomew had to drown her himself.
Yeah.
And he was the one that was actually controlling her dreams and controlling the signs that she saw. He intentionally was trying to tell his own story in his own way, and he included the Moth, which we now know the Moth is connected to the Heartsore Weaver because of the caverns. So why was he trying to make that obvious to Sybil? And how did he know?
That's a good question. But maybe it was because like it seemed like he was kind of familiar with her and that she stopped like accepting Aisling and like her power and did not want to be loyal to her anymore. So I feel like he knew that in her story. So maybe just trying to draw her into also knowing that it is a lie.
Yeah. One question I do have is if Gargoyle knew and he had all that information the whole time, and conveniently at the very end he finally tells his story,
Yeah.
then why didn't that just happen before?
Yeah.
Like, that to me doesn't make that much sense.
Especially since it seems like he's not shy to say what's on his mind, you know?
Yeah.
But then I feel like, too, that he's in the grasp of Aisling. It seems like she has so much power over him that he is censored in what he could potentially say.
Yeah.
Especially if he was an Aisling.
But even, like, once they both left,
Yeah.
why did he wait so long?
I don't know. He's very peculiar.
Yes. But I hope that's just not the only reason from the author's perspective of why she made it happen when she did.
Yeah.
Like, I want more answers on that.
I agree. Do you think in the second book, like, we will see more of Rory and we will see more of, like, the gargoyle?
I feel like it will be like a different perspective type thing, and she'll have multiple perspectives. That's what I'm gonna guess.
I can see that.
But she was writing in third person, right?
I think so.
So maybe she'll just keep that the same and just like bounce around. I feel like we're gonna see an equal amount of Sybil and her being the queen, and of Rory and Maud and the gargoyle trying to figure out how they can fix
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. So much of the story was revolving around the Omens, though, so I'm interested to see how the story will turn now that Gillig doesn't have the Omens anymore.
Right.
So, yeah.
Because the Omens am I just making this up? But they got destroyed, right? When they destroyed Aisling Cathedral.
Yes.
Okay.
So all that power just went to the king, Benji, but I think he knew no one would recognize that power unless he had Sybil,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't just be seen as like a heretic, basically.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so much to ponder here, and I'm ready for the next book to see what is happening with this.
Did you happen to look over any reviews on Goodreads?
I didn't. Usually that's like my ritual when I finish a book is I'll go on Goodreads, mark it as read, read the reviews. I saw that it had really good reviews on, specifically the stars, really good stars, but I
Yes.
did not read any of the reviews.
So I was looking last night because that's when I was trying to decide. I was like, maybe other people's reviews will give me some insight on what I need to think.
Yes.
Because I was just going back and forth so much. And it did have a lot of good reviews, a lot of 5 stars. But the 1 stars that there were, I was like, dang, you
What were
guys
they
are really
saying?
just ripping this apart.
Yeah.
And they hated her world building. And I feel like that's kind of what she's known for, is having original new ideas with world building. They were like, even the religion was based off of, I guess, Catholicism,
Okay.
like the big church Catholicism. I don't know. And her world building is original, yes, but it's so small. Like, it's so contained. Like, even with her One Dark Window series, it's like a court intrigue type thing.
Yeah.
But in this series, like the hamlets, the country itself is so small. And then the hamlets, I mean, they did a lot of traveling and it barely took up any time. So that shows you how small
Yeah.
the kingdom is. So I guess people didn't like that.
That's very interesting to me because I feel like her world building was so easy for me to grasp. Because there are a lot of fantasy books that you read and you're just like, I mean, we talked about this in the beginning of the episode, but like you have no idea what's happening. But I feel like hers was easy to hold on to.
Yeah. So I was almost offended reading the 1-star reviews because a part of me was just like, I feel like you're almost trying to not like the book.
Yes.
Because some people enjoy being negative like that. So, yeah, I was a little disappointed that people were giving it that low of a rating. But, and then they were saying that with Gargoyle, they were like, yeah, great character and everything. But, I mean, if you only have one good character in the whole book, I mean, that should say something.
That's so mean.
Is Gargoyle my favorite? Yes.
Yes.
But did I see other likable characters? Very
Also,
much so.
Yeah.
Like, I loved Maud.
I was just about to say Maud was a fantastic character.
I even loved the, like, villains. Like, I loved Aisling.
Yeah.
I loved Rory, and just seeing him kind of come out of his shell a little bit. And I even liked seeing Benji's villain arc a little bit.
Yes.
So I don't know. It's hard for me
mean.
not to feel offended with those reviews.
I know. I'm a little jaded about that. I'm going to have to look for myself and see what they're saying.
Okay. Now it's time for notable quotes.
Yes.
I'll let you go first.
Okay. So this one was from the Gargoyle, and it says, "It is easier swearing ourselves to someone else's cause than to sit with who we are without one." Did you have it?
Yes, that was my favorite thing he said.
It's so good, and I feel like it like just tells like the discomfort of us not knowing who we are or what we stand for, because I feel like we all do that in our lives too.
And that's huge, like especially now, where I feel like a lot of people are afraid to state their own opinions and like how they truly feel, because cancel culture is kind of scary. So no one wants to like deal with that
Or be out there to like show themselves and like what they believe in and stuff.
One I had from Sybil, and I think she was talking to Gargoyle. She said, "I learned that for all of my heartbreak over death, my heart could break for happiness too."
Oh, I love
Just
that.
love that. And I think it was because her thing with Rory started to blossom a little bit. And I was like, oh, that's so cute.
That is really good.
You have another one?
I do, and this is from the Gargoyle again. But it said, or he was saying, "When you do the right thing for the wrong reason, no one praises you. When you do the wrong thing for the right reason, everyone does, even though what is right and wrong depends entirely on the story you're living in. And no one says that they need recognition or praise or love, but we all hunger for it. We all want to be special." And I feel like I love this quote because it just reveals how morality and recognition are often tied to perception and not truth. I feel like it just asks us to like consider, are we doing the right thing? And because it's truly right, or because we want to be praised for it. And I feel like that's something that all of us struggle with whenever we're tied between those two.
And his background with basically Aisling not liking him because he was childlike and he hummed little songs and he called everyone Bartholomew. Stuff like that. And he was constantly degraded for it, basically. And then he also was self-aware of the fact that he did do bad things because he was told to do them, and he did run off to find foundlings for Aisling. And he does say that at the end, that he's basically feeling very guilty because of that. And I think that might be when he says that.
I think so. I can't remember, because the other quote I think was whenever she was swearing herself into the knighthood.
Yeah.
And he said, like, it's okay if you don't want to do that because you're just going from one thing to another, Aisling, to being in the knighthood.
Right.
But I can't exactly. I reread it last night, but I can't remember what pinpoint it was in the book.
I didn't write the exact quote down, so I probably will butcher it a little bit. But it was said by two different characters. And I thought it was interesting because it was said first by Aisling. And they were both at the end. And Aisling said, sometimes people don't realize why we do bad things for good reasons. And I think that's before Sybil ends her. And then Benji ends up saying the same thing. And he says, well, sometimes you have to do bad things for good reasons.
Yeah.
So I was like, huh.
That's definitely starting his villain arc there. There was a quote, and now I'm just going to butcher it, and I should have wrote it down, but it was like, a story is just somewhat of a lie, isn't it? Or something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought they said that multiple times throughout the book, and I thought that was a really good one.
And it was at the beginning and towards the end, because that's when Bartholomew was repeating the story that Aisling told him about him.
Yes.
So I have one from Maud.
Okay, let me hear it.
She said, it's hard to see who I am when I am lost in what's expected of me. And I thought that was pretty deep.
Yes.
And she had a lot of good things to say, but that one stuck out the most to me.
I think with Maud, I hope that we get to see more of her character. We saw a lot of her character, but I feel like there's just so much more to unravel with her in the next book.
I honestly thought that when she got hurt by the mountain sprite, was it the mountain sprite? I was like, she was very killable. Like, she was the perfect character to kill off. So I really thought that was the end of Maud.
I thought so too, because how Rachel wrote it, it was like she died whenever it was the brike fell on her. And I was like, oh, well, that's the end of her. That's not good. But then she recovered.
Oh yeah, it was the tree sprite. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, now I'm like, one of the three, Rory, Maud, or Gargoyle, one of them has to die in the next book. Like,
unfortunately, yeah.
And I hate that I'm saying this, but if she doesn't kill one of them off, then she's not doing them justice.
I feel, in my humble opinion, I feel like Maud is unfortunately going to be the one who gets killed off, only because of the upheaval that would happen if she killed off the gargoyle. And then everybody loves a good love story. And so, like, you have to keep that going with Roy and Sybil. So I feel like that has to be there as a baseline. People will be upset with the gargoyle. People might not necessarily be so upset if it was Maud, though.
Yeah. But think of it this way. Second book, that's it. That's the end of the series.
Right.
One, everyone always kills off the comedic relief. And although Gargoyle is so much more than the comedic relief, he's so beloved.
Yeah.
That I think that makes him the perfect character, like a bittersweet killing to really evoke emotion from the readers.
Yes.
So I can see Gillig just be like,
he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Unfortunately.
I would cry if I had to write that. And at the end, when I thought he died, because she made it seem like he was dead.
I know.
I was like, no.
Like, Rachel, this is like, we
Stop
cannot
playing.
I know, we can't be doing this. But I guess that kind of concludes what we had today. I think that this book stood out to me to wrap this up is the world building, of course, the slow burn romance between Rory and Sybil, and just an all-around good gothic fantasy.
The armor scene.
Yes.
And the spring, the hot spring.
Yep.
And we didn't even talk about that stuff.
We didn't even touch that. That'll be on something else a little bit later, I guess.
Yeah. So we picked our new book, our new podcast book, and I think it's a little different from our past books that we've done. It's by Edith Wharton, and it is The Age of Innocence.
I'm excited.
Should we give them like a little background on how that was chosen?
You can.
Okay. So if you don't know the show on Apple TV called The Buccaneers, that is a TV adaptation from the book by Edith Wharton called The Buccaneers that she never got to finish, but someone else finished for her. And I really love that show. So I think it'll be a fun time reading The Age of Innocence because a lot of her books are like the Gilded Age inspired. So yeah. So join us in reading The Age of Innocence. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast.
See you next time.
Bye.